You see that silver sedan right there? Well, that's the suspect, and the suspect, what we're hearing right now, is wanted for vandalism of a hotel or a motel room, which is very interesting because that is a misdemeanor, and right now he's dealing with felony evading. We're actually coming over the scene here as they're coming northbound on the 405 freeway. You can see all that traffic, that afternoon rush hour traffic coming your way here. We're approaching Sunset Boulevard, and the speeds are very slow, in and out of traffic. We're going to try to figure out which suspect it is here. It looks like it may be slowing or stopped. No, it's still going here, and it is that silver sedan there. It looks maybe like a Mercedes, guys. Or maybe a Mercedes in that number 1 lane as they're continuing northbound here on this pursuit of a vandalism suspect.
All right, we're going to go right now to CHP Officer Kevin Tao to maybe give us some more information, shed some light on this situation. Are you there, Officer Tao?
Yes, I am.
What could you tell us about this pursuit?
Well, what we know is the Inglewood PD is initially was looking for a suspect that was apparently involved in the vandalism at a hotel room in Inglewood. And when they request CHP for assistance, we were able to locate the vehicle and try to attempt to make a stop on this vehicle, at which time he failed to stop, and that's the pursuit.
What type of charge does it entail to vandalism of a hotel or motel?
Well, at this time, we don't know what type of vandalism was done, but we do know for sure that it was a type of vandalism that was potential property damage to the hotel.
Again, is he stopping for a reason? I'm sorry, Colleen, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt you.
I don't know. It looks like there's
traffic ahead of him.
traffic in front of him. Eleni just
Yeah,
seems like
there's
he's
traffic,
kind of
yep.
stopping and being courteous and giving distance in front of him, not tailgating. I mean, really, we haven't seen one of these sort of slow, very slow chases where the driver is minding everything except for pulling over.
Right.
Yeah, and this might be one of those situations that a spike strip would be something that they would plan to do. We're going to try to get a little closer look here, try to engage our lens, get on the long end, use the digital doubler, try to see if we can look into that front windshield right now and get a better look at the suspect, see what his demeanor is. Well, there's the freeway overpass there, so we're going to have to wait a second on that. And as soon as he comes back, we'll take another look. But try to see what his demeanor is, what his state of mind may be. Is he reaching around in the passenger area of the vehicle? That's always a big concern for officers. So we'll take a look at that here as we slow down just a little bit, Marcos, and we'll try to get a better look inside this Mercedes coupe.
From what we understand, this is not a stolen car, so the guy obviously is, if he just vandalized a hotel or motel room in Inglewood, we don't really know much about him except that he is following the rules. He's being polite on the road, but
right. I mean, it is very telling why the suspect will not pull over.
Yeah, it's very possible that if they run the vehicle and it comes back to a registered owner, they know the address that the vehicle comes back to. The officers will try to make contact with with the owner of the vehicle and make sure that if they don't answer or try to tie that vehicle with that suspect, and obviously if it's an unreported stolen, it could be stolen and just finding out that it was stolen. So there's a lot of possibilities here as they continue here northbound approaching Burbank Boulevard here on the 405 that this could be. But right now, again, I think the best option for them, if they decide to do so, would be a spike strip. And if that deploys and they do that, we'll let you know right after it happens. And it's a perishable skill set. If you have been trained in that maneuver as a police officer and it has been a long time and you haven't deployed that technique, it's a perishable skill set. So it will always get recurrent training. They have to go through so much training over certain years. Again, that supervisor knows all of his officers and what they're trained in. So they may have an officer that's actually got more training, recent training, if you will, to actually do the maneuver. So these are all things that normally aren't talked about in the decisions that these supervisors make. But that is things that are going through their minds and how they supervise these pursuits. We're going to tighten back up on the suspect here, and we'll let you know if he does. But he's so far committed to the northbound 5 here, coming through the Newhall area. Looking ahead up at traffic, and we see nothing. It's wide open, 55, 65 at least, all the way up here as it goes up towards the Grapevine, towards Lake Pyramid, Castaic area. We don't see anything worth that's going to slow him down at all.
And the black and white's still behind him?
Yeah, we'll pull out, show you right now. Black and whites are at least 3 or 4. You can see that. Oh, well, this is interesting. We'll see what happens here. This is unusual. Maybe using that van for cover. Well, he was going to try to. He was going to try to get in behind that van, use him for cover, and maybe pop in and surprise the suspect. But the van had different plans, so he continues northbound. But it almost looked like he wanted to maybe get a better look at the suspect or put himself in a position to do a pit maneuver.
Yeah, it looked like that van didn't want anything to do with that situation.
No.
He got out of that situation very quickly.
Yep. We're coming up on McBean Parkway here, northbound 5. We continue looking at speeds. I'm looking at Air 7 right now, probably 55 miles per hour. Again, well below the speed limit here. But you see some of the slowing of the cars behind. I think that has to do with the emergency equipment on the vehicles. You've got 3 or 4 black and whites with their lights and sirens on. That makes a racket, especially at this lower speeds. They're going to be able to hear that, and that's probably slowing down some of that traffic ahead of the suspect. So, but again, if I look ahead, I don't see any of that slowing up ahead at all.
And if you lived in LA for any amount of time, you know if you hear sirens and you're on the freeway, maybe to steer clear, go to the right-hand side of the freeway, get out of the way, because we've all seen these chases and pursuits happen.
Yeah, a great shot there from camera operator Rob Gluckman of the CHP Air Support right over the top of this pursuit as it continues here. Their job is so important in this pursuit and maintaining the communications. Bold actually take over the broadcast for the primary and secondary units, making sure that they're putting out the information on where the suspect is, speeds, everything relative to the pursuit and the management of the pursuit, so the driving officers can just focus on the driving, focus on the suspect, and not have to worry about it. That's one of the things these tactical flight officers and pilots from the Air Support divisions across Southern California do to make sure these things stay safe. We are crossing Valencia Boulevard here, northbound 5, looking at about 65 miles, 65, 70 maybe right now, miles per hour.
There we go, just continuing on. You see it. That was a sheriff's car. Sheriff's car parked on the Gore Point there as he went by. They're well aware of this pursuit that's coming, and they will not get involved at all. They'll let CHP handle this, and only if CHP requests their assistance will they get into pursuit, and that's normally only after it comes off the freeway. So last thing the Santa Clarita Watch Commander wants is all of his units to get involved in this pursuit and leave the area. So they'll just let CHP pass through, keep an eye on it. If he gets off the freeway, they'll help out with that. So right now, approaching Magic Mountain and be the next off ramp here. We're pretty much coming up on the park now. And I'm going to slide over just a little bit and see if we can get the license plate for our desk. Maybe that'll help out with trying to figure out what we're dealing with here. As I kind of slide Sky 5 over a little bit closer, and my photographer Chris Haug has been working really well with the camera here, keeping an eye on it. So we're going to push in just a little tighter here, and hopefully somebody on the desk will be able to pick off that license plate to be able to see exactly what it is, and they can maybe figure out who this car belongs to and get a little more information like that. But this is pretty much as close as I can get because of the air unit down below us. So hopefully with your larger monitors in the screen or in the station, you're able to read this. So that's another little asset we can use to help out us up here. We're still waiting for information from CHP Public Information Officer on exactly what's going on here. So Glenn and Lou, if once the desk lets you know, jump right on in and take it and let us know exactly what this guy is up to and what their idea is with this suspect. Probably in the 50 to 60 mile an hour range. Thanks. He's got the window down again. He said he's got a phone in one hand and a piece of paper in the other, so he's giving somebody a call. So, you just don't know what's up with this guy. Kind of these. Yep. Yes. So. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if he's trying to get something out of the car. I mean, that's normally when the window comes down. So, but it looks like the window's still up to me. I can still see reflection off it. He's kind of digging through his center console here, assorting things in his center console, making sure everything's in order, and maybe he's getting ready to stop. Yeah, no hand. Yes, doing the knee steering while you're being pursued. Yeah, look. My partner just said, Chris said, yeah, he's going through his mail. I hate to make light of this, but in a situation like this, it is pretty comical. He's driving with his knees. He has pretending like no one's around him. He's just, going somewhere and doing what a lot of drivers do on the freeways, just do everything else but drive. And right now, he's definitely digging through paperwork here. Unknown. Maybe he's pulling out maps, trying to figure out where he's going to go.
So we are looking at this car right now. It is obviously it's a Mercedes. Dave Coons, our car specialist, has weighed in. It's tough to tell from this distance. It's either a C-Class or an E-Class. Generally a nice car. But JT, from what you understand, it is not registered as a stolen vehicle, correct?
Well, right now we don't. If it is stolen, it's an unreported stolen. We haven't got any information from the California Highway Patrol that this is a stolen vehicle. But oftentimes, when there are vehicles used in the commission of a crime, that they are stolen vehicles that just may be unreported. So we're not saying that's the case in this situation, but it could be. So if they're running the plate and it comes back to the registered owner and they contact the registered owner, you can be assured that officers have probably made contact or gone to the registered owner's house to figure out, hey, who is this person? Who are they? If it's not the registered owner, then they can assume that it is an unreported stolen, and or all the circumstances revolving around the vandalism of the hotel. I'm sure they're learning all that intelligence, but it very well could be the suspect's vehicle. It could be registered to the suspect. They could know exactly who they're dealing with. They could be talking to family members and trying to make contact with the suspect. And a lot of times you'll see that when the California Highway Patrol or anybody in pursuit backs off and they give them the distance and they don't try to do in these intervention techniques, that they're trying to communicate with them. They're trying to talk and say, hey, listen, what's going on? How can we help you? Almost like a negotiation in a barricaded SWAT standoff. They want to talk and they want to end this peacefully. Hey, what can we do for you? We're not going to hurt you. Those types of things are going on right now. If they make contact with a suspect and they talk to a family member and they're able to get a hold of them. So that might be something that's happening again. I don't want to speculate because we just don't know, but typically in these situations, those are part of the scenario on the freeway. In fact, I can see the 5 freeway right before it turns into 99, and the visibility, it absolutely goes 0-0, which means I can't even see the freeway. It disappears into almost what looks like a haboob, like a dust storm, but it appears to be, it could be dust, it could be smoke, I'm not real sure. In fact, if you guys give us the okay, I don't think suspects do anything. We can give you a quick look at that, but you let me know as we continue here northbound. But it might be dust. It's hard to tell right now.
All right, why don't you give it a shot, JT? I mean, somebody could keep an eye on the suspect, and Dallas is sitting there watching as well. Dallas always talks about how we have to be careful with lightning storms because lightning often does cause fires.
Oh, look at
there
that.
you go.
Wide pan left. Wide pan left.
Mm-hmm.
That is hard to say if we're looking at smoke or if we're looking at some storm clouds.
That's dust.
That's dust, huh?
It's dust blowing up from the downdraft from the thunderstorm that's coming in from Arbin.
And we're going to pan right, Dallas. We're going to show you where the 5
like
freeway, you pan right, Rob. We're going to show you right
storm.
where the 5
just like they
goes
have in
right
Arizona
there.
last night.
Push in.
You've seen those, Ellen?
You can see right where the 5 disappears into that dust.
Right.
So that's where suspect's headed.
He'll be running.
And we're going to come back to the pursuit, but you can see
very shortly if he continues northbound.
JT, I don't know if you can hear Dallas, but he is saying that is dust from the storm, and it's like a haboob. So you called it right.
Well, yeah, we don't see a lot of those here. A lot of those obviously in Phoenix, as Dallas mentioned, not so much up here. Maybe up in this area, which we don't get to very much. We're going to try to get back on this pursuit here. Yeah, if he continues on in that direction.
Okay, so we have arrived in Kern County. That's where they are on the 5 freeway, heading towards this very big storm that Dallas has been watching, and there you see it on the radar, Dallas.
I'm just curious, can you close those off? Like if you
Well,
don't want the sun on you?
Sure,
Okay,
they have a
okay,
sunshade, of course. If that's, it looks like it was open because I thought I saw the seats pretty distinctively in the car when there was a tighter shot.
Well, it certainly is getting more hazy and worse picture as we try to keep on top of this pursuit and heading into a storm. And he's having to fly very high.
And if you've driven on these parts of the freeways, and I'm pretty sure we all have, we're coming up, I'm not sure if we've hit the 99 cutoff yet, but both the 99 and the 5, we're talking high speeds pretty much all the time. If you're trying to do even like 65, you're getting run over on these freeways. So it's a real long, straight, flat piece of road. So if you wanted to make some speed, you really could.
And it looks like that CHP officer is gaining some, closing the gap a bit.
JT, guys, it looks like they're actually into that dust storm right now. So you see how that visibility has changed. We're on the leading edge of that haboob. The thicker, the heavier stuff's much further to our west, but you can see that visibility going. They may use this as an opportunity, if we can see it, to maybe to sneak up on the suspect and try to get that pit maneuver in. In fact, it looks like they're closing in. Rob, if you could double up on that. Difficult to see here, but again, the visibility really bad. Barely see through all that dust from that haboob, but they are continuing here, and we're coming up on the intersection between the 5 and the 99. So he can stay on the 5 or possibly jump on that 99 northbound through through the desert area here, but it looks like the Chippy's kind of creeping up on him. Again, we're up at about 9,000 feet above this Haboob. Very difficult to see, but it looks like he's trying to close in on him. And we'll see if we can't make this picture any better. We slow up just a little bit to see if we can't see this. But he's going to get into some better visibility here in just a second. He's going through the thick of it right now, and they should pop out into some better visibility any second here. But again, we're in the clear. We're north of the Haboob. That is moving from the west to the east, and it's actually converging with a thunderstorm, which is on the right side. So we have the Haboob on the left side of our helicopter. We got the thunderstorm on the right side of our helicopter, about 4 or 5 miles out, and they're converging on each other. And right now we don't see the pursuit, but hopefully it'll pop into view here in just another second.
Yeah, I've lost it there for it's just a whiteout right now because of the dust storm. So if you're just tuning in, JT is in Air 7. JT, you're pretty high up there, aren't you?
Yeah, we're up here, and then part of that is to get above the shear, and the other part of it is to maintain the signal back to the station. Our receive sites are not geared. This is outside of the KBC here in the Kern County area, but we're trying to maintain that signal back to our receive sites in the Los Angeles area, which is quite a haul right now, so we're maintaining this altitude to continue to bring you these pictures.
Right. Okay, so the pursuit is down there. They've run into a Haboob, so there's some thick dust that they are driving in right now. That's why they're down there. Okay, I could barely make out the CHP vehicle, JT.
Yep, it's going to get much better here. They're starting to come into the clear. We're a little bit further north than they are by a couple of miles to just get into some clearer weather, some safer weather here. So it should get nothing but better from this point forward. They're away from the leading edge of that Haboob and continuing now. We've got a really good side of them.
And I'm wondering if maybe the CHP unit closed up because he wanted to maintain a visual on the car as well. You know, they got to be able to see, is he throwing a weapon out the window? Is he throwing something else out? They want to maintain visual, and he might have lost sight of him.
Or if he could take off, too.
At the distance they were, so he wanted to keep right up with him to make sure he keeps the visual on him. I think he's backed off a little now that the visibility has improved a bit.
Yeah, that's a good point. But, boy, that is something to see them go through the Haboob.
Freeways. And here now we have that live picture from Air 7 HD. Are we able to talk to JT right now? JT, can you hear us?
Yeah, Michelle, Mark, and can you hear me in Air 7 here?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, great. So the suspect has pulled over. He is at a gas station, a Chevron gas station on Maricopa Highway, just west of the 5 freeway. We lost him for a second in the dust storm, the Haboob here, but right now he's gotten off at Maricopa Highway. That's just just north of the 5 and the 99, and we have not seen the suspect exit the vehicle. So we don't know when the CHP lost him, but we think he may have lost him in the storm on an off-ramp. He got off at Maricopa Highway here, and he is sitting at this pursuit. Very, very slow, Mark and Michelle. As you saw, there's a suspect out of the vehicle right now. We're going to come back live. There's a suspect wearing that dark clothing. He got out of the vehicle and got back in, so it's very possible he may have saw a CHP vehicle coming up. He didn't want to interrupt that video, but he did temporarily get out of the vehicle, and now he's going again. So we're going to widen out just for a second if we can to see if there is a CHP vehicle in the area that he may have spotted or maybe grabbing another position. So we're going to reposition the helicopter a little bit further northbound here as he switched pumps. It almost looks like maybe the pump is on the right side of the vehicle and he didn't know it, but that is our suspect wearing black shorts, black shoes, and a black sweatshirt. Looks like he might have a white stripe along the side of the shorts, dark shoes, but gassing up here. And now this could go a long way here if he continues, but that fits the description of the suspect that we did see inside the window. Gotta apologize here. We're above 10,000 feet here in Air 7 HD. Very, very high because of the windy situation. You see that piece of cardboard that kind of flew around. Go ahead.
Hate to interrupt, but just real quickly, just in case, we don't know if the CHP knows for sure where this guy is. Can you just tell us again exactly where this Chevron station is?
The Chevron station is on Maricopa Highway and is just west of the 5 freeway. That's where Maricopa is the first off-ramp north of the 5 and the 99. So he exited the freeway, he drove westbound, and went to this gas station. It looks like he's back in the car and driving. Don't really see him right now. Okay, we're going to push forward here just a little bit here, Marcos. We're going to come forward so we see him. He moved to another pump. That's going to give you a good look at the suspect, but that's definitely matches the description of the suspect that we saw when we looked in the driver's side of the vehicle here. But Maricopa Highway is where we have it on our mapping system here, just west of the 5 freeway. Maricopa being the first exit south of where the 5 and the 99 merge.
This is the first time ever Michelle and I have covered, I don't know how many hundreds of pursuits at this point in our careers, but I've never seen anybody stop for gas during a pursuit.
We've seen a lot of strange things over the course of many years together here on Eyewitness News, Mark. But yeah, you're right. We have never seen someone actually pull over and fill up the tank. And this wouldn't have been possible were it not for that dust storm that contributed to a lack of visibility big time, and the CHP lost this vehicle.
Either they lost him or they decided that it wasn't worth continuing to chase him because it was a misdemeanor to begin with. This began with a misdemeanor vandalism call. Maybe they decided this isn't a felon. It's not worth the resources at this point. They may have some idea who he is based on the license plate or some other information. You know, certainly if he vandalized a hotel room, he had to check into that hotel room. They probably know who this person is. And at some point, there will be some other means of pursuing this individual aside from just chasing his car up the 5 freeway. That could have been a command-level decision that was made.
That's a good
so that may be why you don't see any CHP vehicles behind him at this point, and why he may think he's gotten away. But ultimately, you know, the long arm of the law is going to reach out for him. Now, there he is. He's got a bag.
Going into the Chevron with his backpack, which is unusual. Not sure if he's going to go maybe change inside, but what I found very interesting, we're going to try to get a better position for you guys, is he pulled up to the gas pumps and he got out of the vehicle to fuel, and he realized that the gas fuel area for the vehicle was on the wrong side of the vehicle. So then there he's back in the vehicle. Well, then he had to move the vehicle over to the right side, and he got out to look like he was starting to put fuel in, but I'm not sure if he did. If he did it very quickly. So what he's done is he put a backpack on, he walked to the store, and then he walked back into the vehicle. Just a few seconds ago, as you saw live from here from Air 7 HD. Not really sure why that was, whether he took something, it's very possible he took something out of the backpack and put it in a garbage can here. That's something that officers will definitely review, maybe getting rid of evidence there in a trash can, out of the backpack and in, but he's back in the car. It does not appear that he's got the gas nozzle in the vehicle right now, but just sitting there here on Highway 166, Maricopa Highway, just west of the 5 freeway.
And is there any sign of the CHP coming, JT?
Well, we're so high right now. We're at 10,500 feet, and we're trying to get so much dust around here. We're trying to get eyes outside, but I don't want to pull out too wide. In fact, maybe we can't take a quick look. We'll pull out wide. Rob Gluckman, see if we can't. There's a CHP right there, pulling in, all right. And he's probably going to deploy right behind the vehicle. So, and we'll see what happens here. Now this is a high-risk felony stop. Guns are out. Telling commands. It looks like the suspect's he's giving up. So whatever he may have had. Oh, that's not good.
Don't reach into the car.
That's not good at all. Yeah. So now he's complying, proning himself out. Officers giving him commands. Hopefully some backing units will get here. But what they're going to want to do is they're going to want to go to the front of that store and look at what he possibly took out of that backpack. Because he wasn't there very long. Went to the front of the store, maybe hid it somewhere, put it in a trash can. I'm sure there's security video at that gas station that'll show exactly what he did. But very possible that he did something with evidence very quickly. He wasn't in that area very long. Got out of our sight and walked back to the car with the backpack and put it back into the car. So right now that officer's put out a backup call. He's going to wait for some additional units here to arrive, telling them he's got the suspect at gunpoint. Wait for them to arrive and to take him to custody. There's his backing unit. They're going to help out, maybe get 1 or 2 additional units here before they hook him up and take him into custody. Very interesting to see if they try to gather that evidence, if that was even the case. But it was very odd that he took his backpack out, walked under that area in front of the store for a second, and then took the backpack back to the car, obviously concealing whatever he did with that backpack. But again, didn't see him fuel up, but it looks like CHP has got the suspect proned out right now, just waiting for maybe another officer or 2 to take him into custody.
Wow. Well, I wonder, you know, all sorts of speculation could be involved here on what that backpack has to do with anything. Or I wonder whether he just needed gas and had no money to pay for it, and just was kind of stumped about what to do. And so, you know, ultimately it was it's just a question of waiting for the CHP to show up. He could have run out of gas on the highway, but he elected, I guess, to go to this gas station, and for some reason didn't fill up, and instead sat there. It went to 3 different pumps that we saw, and then just ended up just sitting there. So my guess is he didn't have any way to pay for gas, couldn't get any, and was kind of stuck. And now the CHP is here. They are taking him into custody, as you see. He was proned out on the parking lot. following the orders of the CHP officers. Again, this began with someone trashing a hotel room in the city of Inglewood. It began, what is that, something like 100 miles away or so from where we find ourselves now, 120 miles away perhaps. And all of that from a misdemeanor offense, allegedly, to what could be felony evading. Yeah. So the actual escape was worse than the crime that spawned the whole thing.
Yep. If he had just pulled over right away, he'd be in much less trouble now. Thankfully, no injuries associated with this pursuit. We have no reports of any collisions with other vehicles. We'll have much more on this on Eyewitness News at 6 o'clock.